are from Mr. Nightmare's YouTube channel. If you don't know who he is, go look him up. He tells some really great scary stories. He's one of my favorite horror narrators on YouTube. And so I just found a website and someone took a bunch of his stories and wrote them down. So I'm going to be reading them to you guys. And I'm sorry if you guys have already heard these. But if you have, you can sit back and relax and close your eyes and listen to the sound of my voice. Alright, so let's begin. This one is a pizza delivery story. So I really love these stories because I think it's really fun to listen to, because delivering pizza, that sounds like such an innocent thing. But when you think about it, people who deliver pizza are driving to places they've never been. They're meeting people they've never met. And so this causes people to interact with some strange people and have some scary experiences. So, let's begin. Working as a pizza delivery boy, you'll run into a lot of strange things. However, this story may be an exclusive example of that. I was 21 years old, and it was a late Friday night shift at John's Pizza, meaning I would be closing with my boss. It was 9, an hour before closing. My next delivery was to the Sucarettis, the next town over. The drive wasn't too long, maybe 15 minutes. I was a bit confused. The map was taking me to an isolated road that seemed to lead to nothing. I drove down it anyway, and shortly realized it led to a house by the water. It seemed every light in the house was on. Upon getting closer, I could hear music blasting from inside the house, even though my window was shut. Strangely, there were only 2 cars parked in front of the house. At least from what I could tell, it was a pretty wide open property. The front of the house faced the water, so the road or driveway, I supposed, curved around to the front by the water. As I walked up to the front door, I took more notice to the fact that the house was brand new. I then rang the bell a few times since the music was so loud. I was caught completely off guard when 2 women opened the door, one blonde and one brunette. Barely clothed, they had huge flirty grins on their faces. The blonde woman grabbed the pizza while the brunette hands me a 20. I was about to ask where everyone was, but the brunette called me cute and asked me for my number. I thought I was about to get extremely lucky. After giving me her number, I was about to attempt at getting myself invited in, but the blonde immediately did that for me anyway. Alright, let's see what other ones there is. Alright, this one is a true scary babysitting story. And for those of you who don't know, people send their stories in to these horror narrators on YouTube, and they just narrate them. So yeah, it's pretty terrifying, and I kind of want to do one, an ASMR one. So, if you guys have any true scary stories, you can email me. It's in my bio or whatever, or you can Snapchat me or comment or DM me, whatever you want. Anyway, let's move on. This is a babysitting story, and it says, there was this time long ago, I was in charge of watching my cousin and his 4 friends while they slept over. My uncle was paying me $100 to watch them for the night. All I did was play video games with a bunch of 10-year-olds for the easiest $100 I ever made. But things took a huge turn for the worst when I heard footsteps coming from this upstairs. We were in the basement playing video games. 2 of the kids also heard the sound. I counted 5 kids sitting on the couches, and neither my aunt or uncle was supposed to be home that night. I swallowed my gum when I realized the basement door was wide open. I told them to stay there while I ran upstairs to shut the door. The door didn't have a lock from the inside, only the outside. I called to the kids to hide in the workout room. I shut the TV and all the light, I shut the TV and all the lights, and then followed the kids into the workout room. We listened in the dark as the footsteps approached the basement door, and then the horrible sound of the basement door opening, followed by heavy footsteps stomping down the stairs, one by one. One of my cousin's friends were crying, and I had to tell them to shut the hell up. I leaned against the door with a chair along with a bunch of barbell weights wedged against it. I listened as the door to the boiler room was opened a few moments later. Closed. Screams of children filled the room as the doorknob to the workout room began to turn. I pushed the door with all my might to keep it shut. Whoever was on the other side quickly gave up as we heard rushed footsteps going up the stairs. I heard the footsteps right above our heads moving in the direction of the front door. This was before everybody had cell phones, so calling somebody first wasn't an option. I scanned the whole house, finding that the front door had been left open and all the bedrooms upstairs had been trashed. Nobody was in the house, so I called the kids up. A few things had been stolen, but as long as nobody was hurt, we were all happy. Alright, that one's pretty scary. I think home intruder stories are really scary. I've heard a few crazy ones. That one wasn't like terrible though. Okay. Let's see. Okay. This is another pizza delivery one I found. I hope you guys like these. So, it was my last delivery of the night at Domino's Pizza to a house that was about 10 minutes away from the shop. There was a note on the door, which I read after ringing the bell. It said, "To Pizza Guy, please let yourself in and leave the pizza in the upstairs bedroom. Money will be on the bed." Terrifying. Immediately, red flags were springing up in my head, all over. I actually called my boss and told him I didn't feel safe going in there, and he actually told me it would be best to just go inside. Stupid boss. I tried to use my charm, as people say I have, to persuade my boss, but he was hell-bent on me not bringing the pizza back. The door was unlocked, so I let myself in. It was an average-sized house with some furniture that seemed a bit aged. There was a small night light shaped like a candle on the wall, providing just enough light to see a bit into the living room and my way upstairs. That is literally so terrifying. There were no lights in any of the rooms up there, just another candle night light. More red flags going off in my head. I come to the end of the hallway upstairs. There are 2 doors, one open, one shut. The open door leads into a dark room, which I had to guess was the bedroom. As you may imagine, I was shaking in my shoes, afraid for any sudden sounds or movements anywhere. I pushed the door open completely and pressed my hand against the wall looking for the light switch. Found it. I flicked it on. Nothing. The lights didn't seem to work in this room. I very slowly walked over to the center of the room until something cushiony stopped my leg. It was a bed. I placed the pizza on the bed and began to search for the money in the dark. Just then, I heard the faintest, quietest thing from outside of the room. I lifted my head and then resumed searching even faster. I was hoping to God I was just some kind of old person living here and they were too sick or nervous or whatever to meet someone. I found the money. It felt like 2 bills. I hoped they were 10s. I put them in my pocket and left the room. I stepped outside the room and saw the door to the other room was open. I could have sworn it was shut earlier. Your pizza's on the bed. Have a great day. I myself could hear the shake in my voice. There was no kind of response. I started to lean into the dark room to maybe get a better view. Too dark. I reached my hand into the room and searched for a light switch, but something grabbed my arm with a painfully tight grip and tried pulling me into the room. I screamed and jabbed at the arm with my keys finally breaking free and getting back to my car. Nothing chased me out. Nobody followed my car. I told my boss about it and even talked him into giving me a raise for making me go through that hell. He didn't want me to call the cops for whatever reason. It really wasn't on the top of my mind, but in hindsight, I guess it would have made sense to get the police to check that place out. Anyway, not everything was terrible. I did get my pay raise from $7.50 to $8.50. That's it. For risking your life, you get a $1 raise. That's scary though. Alright, I think we have time for one more. Man, I wish I could get your guys' opinion, like what one I should read. I wish I could read them all and you guys could tell me which one you want. Mommy's in the Closet. Me from 2016. This happened when I was really little and I lived alone with my single mom. She always came to check on me every night when she would get up to go to the bathroom. This one night in particular, I remember waking up thinking I heard something in my closet. I looked up and my mom was at the foot of my bed giving me a playful wave. She told me to go back to sleep. She then went into the closet and pulled the door until it was just barely open. And she just stood in there, poking her head through the crack of the barely opened closet. I remember vividly seeing her eye peeking through the crack at me. I laughed like any little kid would do in that situation and then fell asleep moments later. When I was eating cereal the next morning, I asked my mom why she was hiding in the closet last night, and she stopped and gave me a puzzled and concerned look. She told me she hadn't been in the room all night. At first she assumed somebody had broken into the house, but she soon realized it was some kind of hallucination or dream. Since this experience, I've only had 2 other hallucinations, neither of them as vivid or as creepy as this one. That's not too bad, but it is scary. I don't think I've ever really had a hallucination. This one is called Mall Santa. Did you ever used to have fear of those guys who would dress up as Santa Claus in the mall or at Christmas parties? Up until the age of about 8, I certainly did. I think I was 6 or 7 years old when me and my mom were walking through the mall with all the Christmas festivities and decorations up. Festive bands playing jingle bells, a giant tree in the center of the mall, and of course, a mall Santa sitting in a chair covered by a green blanket. There was a small line of kids and parents waiting to sit on Santa's lap, maybe 2 or 3 kids. My mom insisted I sat on his lap normally. It would be the other way around. The kid begging the parent to sit on the lap, but she knew how shy I was. There wasn't anyone by the Santa's side, like one of those people who calls the next child up. It was just him. When I sat on the stranger's lap, he grabbed me by the chest and said softly in my ear, "What do you want for Christmas?" I think I said a Game Boy Advance. He laughed and assured me I would receive one. Then, for whatever whatever reason, my mom walked up to the Santa and said something quietly to him. He chuckled in response to whatever she said and then said, "No problem." My mom told me to wait there by the Santa for a few minutes until she came back. At this point, there were no kids waiting to sit on his lap, so his attention was directed at me. He told me to come over and sit on his lap again. I somehow obeyed despite my fear of Santa Claus. When I sat on his lap, he pulled me closer to him so that my back was leaning on him. When I think back on this moment now, it's all the more painful and creepy. He then whispered in my ear that he had a Game Boy Advance outside by his sled, and I followed him. Oh my gosh. I would get it right now and wouldn't have to wait until Christmas. My fear suddenly turned to excitement as I believed him. We both stepped off the chair and I followed him down one of the exit hallways, but halfway through, he stopped and told me we should take a bathroom break first. Oh my gosh. We stepped into the bathroom and he quickly locked the door. I turned and looked at him as he looked at me. But before anything else could happen, there was a frantic banging on the door. Somebody on the other side was yelling to open up. The Santa opened the door and a man pulled him out and shoved him. The man escorted me back to the center of the mall, asking where my mom went. I watched as the fake Santa casually walked out the exit door and out of my sight. When my mom came back, the man explained everything. I'm pretty sure he was watching the whole time. So he and my mama asked around to see if the mall hired any mall Santas for the day. They did not. Whoever that was just a pervert dressed as Santa to get kids to sit on his lap and possibly wait for a perfect opportunity to snatch one, just like he almost did me. It's terrifying. I'm really glad I never had experiences like that. I do have a few of my own true scary stories though. If you guys would like me to tell them, let me know in the comments. Anyway, that is it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you guys are feeling calm. Hopefully not too scared. Thanks again for 2,000 subscribers, and I will see you guys on the next one.